every 2 minutes. The energy reaching the Earth from the Sun is equivalent to the entire energy consumption of humanity in 1 year. All the energy, all the cars moving everywhere, all the lighting, all the air conditioning of the world in 1 year is equivalent to 2 minutes of sunlight. Does that change how you think about solar energy? Today, we will tell you everything about how we, as a team of 11 students, harness this energy for our solar car, Nuna. My name is Reveal Nuna, and together with Lucas Franse, we will be hosting this review for you today.
Xavier and I are both part of the team. I've already seen lots of friends and family in the audience here today. For the past 10 months, you haven't seen me that much, right? And I think this also holds for the rest of our team. And it was all because of this project. And I hope that after today you have a good understanding of why we do all this. To begin with, I want to take you back to the start of the team, to the start of solar racing. It all began with our former team coach, Reveal Nuna, who once famously said, "There's only one Earth, and there is no more."
Today, Joost Okkels, wife of the late Reveal Okkels, will take you on a journey to where this all started. I would like to direct the English-speaking guests to the left and the right sides of the screen. Enjoy.
Wat een verrassing. Goedemiddag, astronauten van ruimteschip Aarde. Zo zou mijn man Reveal Okkels begonnen zijn, als hij hier was geweest. Op dit moment waarop we met z'n allen opnieuw vieren wat de mogelijkheden zijn van zonne-energie, solar power. En het verhaal begint natuurlijk met de reis die Reveal naar de ruimte in 1985 maakte aan boord van de Space Shuttle. Hij kreeg de kans om onze planeet Aarde van de andere kant vanuit de ruimte te bekijken. En het bleek een heftige ervaring te zijn om daar te zweven op een plek waar de dood van de ruimte wel heel dichtbij is. En dan te kijken naar die aarde waar wij allemaal op leven. Een planeet met een atmosfeer die ons wel beschermt tegen die dood van de ruimte. Maar die zo onvoorstelbaar vreselijk dun is, dat je schrikt. Ook omdat je bedenkt dat mensen op aarde zich daar nauwelijks bewust van zijn. En er ongelooflijk veel troep in dumpen. Hou van de aarde, zei Reveal. Bescherm haar. We zijn er volkomen afhankelijk van. We zijn zo aards. En we kunnen nergens anders heen. Hou van de aarde en neem je verantwoordelijkheid. En dat zei hij ook op de laatste dag voor zijn overlijden in 2014. Het was en het werd zijn missie. En dat heeft alles te maken met het afwijzen van fossiele energie en het omarmen van zonne-energie. En daar gaat het vanmiddag hier over. Energie van de zon. Je kan er zelfs een auto op laten rijden en je kan er heel hard mee rijden. Die ontwikkeling begon rond 2000. En de organisatie vroeg me vanmiddag wat te vertellen daarover. Herinneringen op te halen over die beginfase. Eind 1999, begin 2000, kwamen er namelijk een aantal studenten van de TU Delft op bezoek bij Reveal, waaronder Ramon Martinez en Tim de Lange. Zij hadden plannen om mee te doen met een zonne-autoreis met een autorace in 2001 in Australië. Een race puur op zonne-energie. Dat gebeurde 1 keer in de 2 jaar en je moest dan zelf een auto ontwerpen en een auto maken en je inschrijven voor de World Solar Challenge van Darwin naar Adelaide, zo'n 3000 kilometer. En die studenten die vroegen Wubbel of hij mee wilde doen als adviseur. Hij zou namelijk heel erg goed kunnen helpen als hij met zijn naam en zijn bekendheid toch wat meer geld zou kunnen ophalen en ook de medewerking van de TU kon regelen. Voor Wubbel was dat een uitdaging. Zijn motto was altijd al niks leukers dan een probleem en dan oplossingen te vinden. Maar hij had wel gelijk een wedervraag. Hoezo meedoen? Ik wil niet meedoen, ik wil winnen. Dat kan toch? Ga dat nou eens eerst onderzoeken en dan praten we verder. Dat leidde uiteindelijk tot de geboorte van de zogenaamde 8 factoren waarmee je een zonne-autorace zou moeten kunnen winnen. Factoren als een goed team en sponsoring, de beste zonnecellen, slimme strategie enzovoort. Daar kon Wubbel wel mee werken. En dat eerste team, 8 mensen in totaal, noemde zich het Alpha Centauri team. En ze konden zeker verder toen het Wubbel lukte om Nuon over te halen tot een meer dan verdubbeling van de sponsorgelden, omdat hij hen verzekerde dat dit team toch echt zou gaan winnen en dat ook de TU met kennis achter ze zou staan. Dat we sindsdien die auto Nuna noemen, vond Nuon wel wat vanzelfsprekend. En dat eerste team heeft in wezen de basis gelegd voor het soort teamwerk wat nodig is om tot een resultaat te komen. Ieder kreeg zijn eigen taak en moest kennis ontwikkelen om zeg maar van die factoren op de hoogte te zijn. Ze moesten ook wegen vinden om elkaar te vertrouwen en ondertussen bezig zijn om die auto door en door te kennen, zodat je straks bij al die onvermijdelijke problemen het zou kunnen oplossen. Ook Wubbel moest zijn rol vinden, want uiteindelijk was hij toch meer een natuurkundige dan een techneut. Wel iemand met een groot gemak om getallen en formules te interpreteren en de juiste vragen te stellen, maar toch ook verdomd eigenwijs. En dan is teamwork niet altijd makkelijk. Thuis merkte ik in al die jaren meer over zijn aandeel in die fase. Steeds weer doorspitten van alle nieuwe regels van de organisatie. Waar zitten de loopholes? Waar kan ik nog vooruit? Waar zit de intelligentie? Waarom lukte het toen de vorige keer niet? Waarom heeft een ander team gewonnen? Vragen die altijd maar opkomen, vooral als je aan de grens zit te werken. Maar toch ook een heerlijke fase voor Wubbel. Keer op keer het bevragen van elk nieuw idee. Toch nog even Chris Selwood in Australië bellen over wat wel en niet nou precies binnen die nieuwe regel valt. Die eeuwige problematiek van het lamineren van cellen en meneer Kocheman. Welk risico nemen we met de keuze van deze cellen? Gaan we voor een nieuwe of een bestaande elektromotor en die banden die steeds maar weer stuk gaan? Ja, al die discussies hoorde ik voorbij komen. Dat ze in 2001 wonnen was ongelooflijk. Zonneracen hoorde er vanaf die tijd bij. In 2003 ging Wubbel samen met teamleden ook colleges zonneracen geven op de TU Delft. De manier om in die tijd nieuwe studenten geïnteresseerd te krijgen voor de volgende race. Dat er ook studenten van Twente en Leuven in de zaal zaten, dat was alleen maar uitdagend. Ook vandaag staat er straks weer een nieuw team die deze eerste fase afsluit. Nuna 11S staat op het punt om haar auto te presenteren. En ze zijn een stap grote stap dichter bij een race gekomen. Een race met maar één doel en dat is de eerste te zijn bij de finish. En vanaf nu af aan gaat het niet meer om de sterke punten. Het gaat om de zwakke punten. Want waar kan en waar ga je falen? En ik weet, die 8 factoren zijn afgevinkt. Maar dat wil echt niet zeggen dat je gaat winnen. Want dan komt de race. En op die dag kijk je toch echt wel wat anders naar die auto. Niet meer van, oh, wat ziet hij er toch fantastisch mooi uit. Nee, dan is het ding, doe wat je moet doen. Een race blijkt ineens tactiek te zijn, een strategie, geheimzinnigheid erbij. Kan je je concurrent een beetje voor de gek houden. Toch stiekem wel kijken naar wat voor problemen zij hebben. Een beetje spioneren mag toch? Het is sport. Pure competitie. Toch ook weer tegenvallers. Natuurlijk, je hebt het even heel moeilijk. Soms ben je bek af. Maar je gaat gewoon door. Je blijft je focussen en je blijft initiatief tonen. Tijd voor overleg is er niet meer. Je moet keuzes maken. Niet leuk. Soms helpt het dan om even af te reageren. Ik heb ze zien voetballen, stoeien, push-ups doen, ontlading zoeken, uitleven en vooral harde, heel harde muziek. Het is een heftige ervaring, maar ook opperste gelukzaligheid, zou ik wel zeggen. En voor mij waren de races echt heel intens. Ik werd altijd ingedeeld bij de supportgroep, dus helpen eten maken, afwassen, tent opzetten, luchtbedden oppompen, opruimen, helpen bij statisch laden, concentrators vasthouden, ga maar door. En tijdens de race zat ik heerlijk op de achterbank van de mediaauto, met fotografen en dierbare vrienden, HP, Pier en Jorrit. Boterhammetjes voor ze te smeren. HP is overigens wel het meest ervaren Nuna-lid van 22 jaar zonne-racen. Hij was er altijd bij, alleen die eerste keer niet. HP is echt onmisbaar voor elk team. En verder, Wubbo zat in Mission Control, de auto achter de Nuna. Het heiligdom van de strategie tijdens de race. Een auto waar je niet in de buurt van mag komen. Ik heb tijdens de race ook nooit meer dan 10 woorden met Wubbo kunnen wisselen. En ook bij de reglementaire stops, die momenten van haast, daar ga je zeker niet in de weg lopen. Zo'n race vliegt voorbij en pas achteraf denk je, wat bijzonder die onvergetelijke momenten als de zon opkomt. Ook al word je abrupt wakker gemaakt met Swinging Safari van Bert Kaempfert. Keihard door de stilte van de woestijn. Wat bijzonder dat onvergetelijke Australische landschap. Ook al heb je 5, 6 keer bezoek aan Australië, maar die ene straat gezien. En wat fantastisch die zuidelijke sterrenhemels. Ja mensen, lieve familie en vrienden van teamleden hier in de zaal. We zijn en we blijven toeschouwer in dat alles. Maar u hebt wel degelijk een heel grote, bijzondere rol in het mogelijk maken ervan. Want ik weet dat u denkt aan al die extra studietijd en die kosten en die studieschuld en de oververmoeide kinderen en die beperkte aandacht van voor de familie en dan al die Nuna-verhalen maar blijven aanhoren. Ja, we mogen inderdaad toekijken. Maar zie dat ook als een vorm van genieten. Ik zelf ken niet veel ervaringen waarvan de opbrengst uiteindelijk zo groot is als bij deze. Opbrengst bij jonge mensen in zelfvertrouwen, beslissingen kunnen nemen, beslissingen kunnen inschatten, wat focus werkelijk betekent, frustraties leren verwerken, het intens samenwerken met anderen, vriendschappen en uiteindelijk volwassen worden. Ik zou het voor mijn kinderen niet beter kunnen wensen. En Wubbel? Wubbel zei bij de laatste race in 2013 tegen mij: het is zo ongelooflijk wat ik meemaak in mijn eigen leven, dat ik school heb kunnen maken. Een school met intussen meer dan 100 jonge mensen die ik heb kunnen infecteren met innovatie, met duurzaamheid. Met het ontdekken van de kracht van de zon en met de mogelijkheden van een carrière en een toekomst daarin. Wat een heerlijk leven. En daar ben ik, elk team, alle Nuna-mensen, alle supporters en sponsoren en ook jullie, familie en vrienden heel erg dankbaar voor. En dan nu aan het werk en win die race. Dank u wel.
Het Nederlandse Solar Racing Team biedt de zevende editie van de World Solar Challenge.
Bij ons staan met Nuna 2 ook al en de Nuna 3 dat we eigenlijk zo hard gaan met de verkeersregels te beperken.
Wat het voor mij doet, is het geeft hoop. Een hele belangrijke hoop voor de toekomst. Wie past er het snelst aan deze omstandigheden?
Voor iedereen die staat en hoe we dit allemaal gedaan hebben, is echt bizar.
Nou, dat wist je. Ik kan gewoon niet meer misgaan.
Now that you have seen how the team started, it is time to get to know the people behind Nuna 11S. And who can do this better than our team captain, Sanne? Her main responsibility is getting to build a strong team, a team that can rely on each other. Please welcome Sanne Vilters.
We started our year as 11 individuals. We didn't know anything about soda racing or a soda car. We didn't even know each other. And now we're here, 10 months later, and we are finally presenting to you our soda car, Nuna 11S. As you can imagine, a lot has happened since then. We learned, we challenged each other, and we had lots of fun. So let me take you through that journey. Let me take you to the beginning of our team. As I told you at the beginning, we were completely new to this field. We didn't know anything. But we knew one thing for sure. We are going to participate in a soda challenge in South Africa. And we are not only going to participate in it, we want to win it. At that time, the previous team, Nuna 11, was racing in Morocco. And after a few days of that race, it became pretty clear that things didn't work out the way they were planned. They left us with a great car, a great design, but due to the setbacks during their year, they became third. And we want to become first. So it is our job to take that car, make it more efficient, more reliable, and suitable for our race in South Africa. So where do you start? Well, that's a great question. We didn't know either. So we started by analyzing the data that we got from that race in Morocco. And that left us with this whole pile of projects and different parts of the soda car that we could improve. And as motivated and energetic as we were, and still are, by the way, we wanted to do all of them. but we couldn't because we are only with 11. So we had to make choices, and that's hard. So what we did then was translate every project into race minutes. So for example, if we decided to do a certain project, it would left us with a car that was 30 minutes faster. And if we chose to do another project, that would left us with a car that was 8 minutes faster. And that's how we gave an impact on all of those projects. So then we could decide. So we started to make the parts, and it was really fun. We learned a lot, we got to know each other as a team. We are a self-managing team, so that means if we have a great idea today, we can implement it tomorrow. And if it doesn't work out, we can do different the day after that. And that's really exciting, because there is a lot of room for improvement. So we were designing, building, testing, and that's really nice, because when you are working on a certain part in your laptop for weeks or even months, it's really exciting to finally have it in your hands physically. We want to win that race. But that's also because it feels like people expect us to. And that's quite logical, because we won quite a few races in the past. But after a few months, you start to feel that pressure. And that combined with the long hours of work you put in this project, and a few setbacks we had to face, it gets really tough. So you start to wonder, what if I make a mistake and that whole solar car will break down? What if I mess up? What if we don't make it? And that's also the time that you hardly see your friends and family, because you simply don't have the time to. At that moment, you look at each other. You look at your teammates. You see people breaking down. They are tired. It's tough. And at that moment, you really look into each other's eyes and you start to wonder, is this all worth it? Let me take you a few weeks back, a few months back. We decided we want to make our own solar panel, which meant we have to get rid of our old solar panel, which then means we are no solar car anymore. So once we got rid of it, we had to make a new one, as efficient and fast as possible. And that's quite hard, because you have to make really long days of really focused work, because when you make a mistake, the efficiency of the whole solar panel will drop. And the hard thing about this is that not all of us can do this. Only a specific group of people from our team have the knowledge to work on that solar panel. And of course, we can be there for them. We are there at the long nights they are working. So eventually, we fixed it together. We fixed our solar panel. We are a solar car again. We were really happy. There was just one thing left for us to do. And that's to take some final tests to see if it all still worked. When we analyzed those tests, we found out that one solar cell on that panel was broken. And that means the efficiency of your whole solar panel will drop down tremendously. So you have to redo it. And you just can't swap that little cell because it's stuck to all the cells around it. So you have to redo a significant part of that solar panel. And then you really look at each other. You realize the work you put in there. Is this all worth it? That same day we found out that that solar cell was broken was the exact same day some whole army of alumni stood at our front door to help. We fixed it together as a team. You're not alone. We do it as a team. You get the setbacks together. You celebrate together. You challenge each other. You make fun together. You learn together. It is all worth it. We are able to work with the best companies, the most involved partners, the newest technologies, newest innovations, we are able to make a difference to the future. I can tell you, it is all worth it. Breaking boundaries, that's what we stand for. We did it in the past. We are doing it today, right now. And we will definitely break our boundaries in the future in South Africa because we want to win that race. Our team consists of many different disciplines. Everyone has their own role. So let me introduce you to them. When you have a very efficient solar panel, which we have, and an optimized motor, and you put it together, that doesn't necessarily mean you have a great functioning solar car. So let me introduce you to Lars, our technical manager, who makes sure everything fits together at the right place and time.
And in order to fulfill all these projects we want to take on this year, we heavily rely on all our partners. And that's why Demi, Lucas and Xavier work every day very hard in our office to stay in touch with them and to optimize our PR strategy.
So, in South Africa, we have to face some tough roads and hills. And every part of Nuna should be able to carry that load. As to the allowance, our mechanical engineers will make sure Nuna steers, drives, brakes, and above all, won't fall apart.
And then, when Nuna is put together, we have to determine how we're going to get her through the race. And that's where Remco comes into play. As strategist, he is responsible for calculating the optimal speed for Nuna to win the Salsa Solar Challenge this year.
And of course, we want to lose as little energy as possible. And that's why our aerodynamic drag is comparable to the one of one side mirror of a truck. Leonard, our aerodynamicist, knows every airflow in and around Nuna.
And then finally, the part that actually makes us a solar car is our solar panel. And that's when Nathan and Arun come into play. They're responsible for all electrical systems in the car, from the battery pack to the motor, and from the low voltage system to eventually the solar panel.
So, as I told you at the beginning, we started our year as 11 individual students. And I can proudly tell you now, we are here today as a team, as a family. We are Nuna 11S.
Ten months ago, we decided which innovations we would like to make. And knowing what the innovations would be, we determined a budget. And it was quite tough because it was quite a big budget for us. What would you do if you had been in our shoes? Was basically no knowledge. We needed to acquire that budget, right? I mean, we had no clue, we were just students. What kind of strategies would work the best? We have chosen for a personalized strategy. And I can tell you, the strategy was quite successful. As you can see on the screen, quite a lot of nice partners. And we would like to give these partners a short story.
As you probably may know, Brunel is our new main partner. We were both excited for this collaboration since we had the opportunity to do things completely different. But how do you start such a collaboration? I think this was quite a challenge for the both of us. We both had to adjust to the new partnership. Brunel gave us the freedom to do everything that we wanted and supported us where they could, whether we needed experience or just help. I think I can speak for the both of us when I say that we created a strong baseline for the coming years. While some partners support us financially, others support us with their experience or knowledge. But besides these two aspects, Prime Vision also support us in a social way, providing us a part of their office during our first week while our office wasn't available yet, getting us a new coffee machine, a decent coffee machine, so that we could finally get a proper cup of coffee. And who can forget the buffets in the evening, where we could relax and enjoy a well-cooked meal together. For all this, we really appreciate our partnership with Prime Vision.
Yeah, once we moved from Prime Vision's office to our office, we started to finalize our strategy. And I can tell you that I still can remember the first time that we had our first pitch. This pitch took place in the office of NT Data. And you might know it, but NT Data is the world's 8th biggest IT company, so this put quite some pressure on our shoulders. However, once we started our pitch, Daniel and Marta were so excited and so involved in the pitch that the pressure went straight away. And after a few months, they became partner. And it was so nice to see that the involvement and the excitement and the energy level that we experienced during that pitch was all over the company. Just look at this nice picture over here. Besides NT Data, we also have Inca Investments as our new partner this year. You probably didn't know the name before, but Inca Investments is part of one of the 3 core businesses of Inca Group. And Inca Group is the largest owner of IKEA Retail. And when we first entered the place, they said to us, we don't really do any partnerships. But of course, you can come and we can give you a feedback session. So we took that opportunity because we wanted to get better for our next pitches, right? And what started as a feedback session ended in a great partnership.
Besides building a solar car, this year our team decided to also give our workshop an upgrade. As if building a solar car isn't enough already. I think you can imagine that at this moment, an already 3-year partnership with Gamma comes in very handy. I hope you're in the audience, but it's always fun to call with Wendy and hear her enthusiasm on the other side of the line. Gamma is really flexible and willing to think along. Therefore, we are looking forward to even extend this collaboration further in the coming years.
Yeah, and over here you can see a nice picture of Bitfavo. Bitfavo is a digital valuta exchange. And when we first entered the place, it was so nice to see that, the whole office just had we experienced a really fresh office. A lot of young, motivated people working on what might be the future of valuta. And it was just so nice to see the energy level that was around the place.
Air France KLM Martinair Cargo made a comeback this year after being a partner several years ago. This year they are responsible for the air transport of our solar car. I can tell you all about this process, but I believe that the captain who will actually fly Nuna to South Africa can do this way better. So later on, Edward van Herk will join the stage to tell you all about this.
And besides the partners that we've just mentioned, of course, we have a lot of other partners. As you can see on the screen, there are quite a lot of other partners, right? And if I counted it correctly, it adds up to 53. And only because of these 53 partners, we are able to stand here today. And because of them, we can inspire the world in the field of sustainability and innovation. So on behalf of the team, I would like to thank every partner for their support. Thank you. Please welcome Edward van Herk.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Edward. I'm an airline captain on the 747 for Air France KLM Martinair Cargo. I've been a pilot for over 35 years, and as a hobby in my free time I enjoy flying gliders. And gliders can stay at altitude and fly long distances by using solar energy, just like the Brunel solar team is also using. Air France KLM is very much thankful and inspired by the opportunity to take the Nuna to its final destination in Johannesburg and support the Brunel solar team by doing so. We feel very inspired and also connected with their effort. With the drive and passion they have as a team, because we are also facing in aviation a challenge on our own, which is the energy transition to actually becoming more sustainable. I'm looking at my checklist, you know, the pilot also always uses a checklist. Transporting Nuna is you know, very important for the Brunel solar team. And you know, they have of course worked on this so long, and it's very important that we transport it safely. And you can be assured that that's at the corner of our expertise, at the center of our expertise. We are specialists actually in flying special cargo. When we look at the flight, the Nuna is actually transported in a special case, a flight case, which holds the solar vehicle and all the tooling when it's ready to be put on board and we can go up into the skies. The routing we fly is from Amsterdam to Nairobi, where we offload and also load again general cargo before the Nuna is transported to its final destination, Johannesburg, in South Africa. And once we are airborne, as a pilot, we apply standard operating procedures to ensure that the flight is conducted as efficient as possible from a sustainability and fuel perspective. We have really precise flight plans. We use speed and altitude optimizations, techniques such as reduced landing flaps to save fuel, and also taxi in at the end of the flight with some engines switched off. But to be quite frankly, there is no silver bullet yet, you know, in aviation when it comes to sustainability. We have a basket of measures that we employ in order to drive and to push towards the future to sustain our operation. One of our biggest drivers to reduce our footprint at present is actually fleet renewal. The newer generation of aircraft, they are so much lighter and therefore use less fuel and therefore also having less carbon emissions. And another very important aspect or cornerstone, as you will, of our program is the use of sustainable aviation fuel. This is a type of fuel that we can make from biomass, and actually this process consumes a lot less energy. The only problem is the scale at present. KLM Air France is really a heavy partner in the development of SAF, of the sustainable aviation fuel. If we manage to expand the production, which can lead up to 80% reduction of emission if all the airlines in the world would use this on a large scale. So we are investing and also producing SAF together with our partners in order to realize this. Other things we are doing is weight reduction. also in a total cycle reduction of waste. And finally, we are making sure that the whole ground process surrounding the airplane, it's becoming totally electric. So finally, we had a long partnership with the solar team. We've flown the earlier Nunas in the past. We are very happy to be back. And finally then we arrive at Johannesburg, and it's up to the team. They get the chance to transition from engineer to becoming a pilot on the race day and showing the world what solar energy can do. On behalf of Air France, KLM, Martinair, I wish them good sun, Godspeed, and I can hope that they will repeat their winning streak. So thank you very much for your attention.
Well, thank you very much, Edward, for flying Nuna safely to Johannesburg. And the reason why Nuna has flown to Johannesburg is that this is where our race will start. As technical manager, I will also be responsible for all race operations during the Salsa Solo Challenge, and today I'll talk you through the route and the challenges we're going to face. So at first, the Salsa Solo Challenge is an 8-day taking challenge, starting in the east of South Africa in Johannesburg, finishing in the west at Cape Town. In this 8 days, we at least drive 2,300 kilometers, but we try to drive even more. And these kilometers we're only allowed to drive at energy of the sun. So, as soon as we start, before we are allowed to charge a battery pack, but as soon as we cross the start line, we can only charge it using solar power. And the race takes us to the various landscapes of South Africa, from the sloping coastal areas near Jeffreys Bay, to the steep up and downhill parts near Graafrenet. Then, how does this race look like? What kind of format is it? The Salsa Solo Challenge is a distance-driven race, meaning that it's not the team that gets from A to B first who will be the winner, but it will be the team who gets to drive the most kilometers. But then, how are you able to drive more kilometers than your opponents? Well, this can be done by driving loops. The Salsa Solo Challenge contains 8 days, and all these 8 days have a main route. And on these main routes, you have the possibility to drive an extra piece. And these pieces vary in length from 20 till 70 kilometers. And if you drive more, you gain more kilometers. And the more kilometers you drive, the higher the possibility is that you win. Let me illustrate you the principle of the race by talking you through the route. As soon as we start from Johannesburg, near Johannesburg, not the exact, but a bit beneath. And as soon as we start driving, this animation is running, and we enter this purple sector. And this purple sector indicates a loop. And for day one, this loop is part of the main route, but it can also be an entirely new part, or it can be half main route, half new route. And the most important thing of such a loop is that as soon as you start it, you must finish it. And besides, you have to be at the end of day stop before the end of day time. And this is where strategy comes into play. Because how many loops are we going to drive? For example, it can be a sunny day today and we can drive, let's say, 10 to 15 loops. But if the next day it will be rainy and cloudy, we might want to save some energy today in order to overcome tomorrow. And this is a major challenge to our strategists. They continuously monitor all energy flows in order to determine how we can overcome every stage. But is this then the only challenge we face? No. This year, the organization implemented 3 new types of stages in the Salsa Solar Challenge, of which the first we will encounter after day 2. And this challenge has nothing to do with strategy. It's all based on operations. It's called the marathon stage. The marathon stage puts pressure on our operations because it's only allowed for 3 people of our team to work on the car at night. As soon as we cross the finish line on day 2, we put the car in park for May, and from then on, only 3 designated people are allowed to work on the car, repair certain things, check certain things. And this is where our operations will be challenged to the max. Because, for example, when we need to lift the car to expect something from underneath, we already need 6 people. And this is not the only problem. If, for example, we have a mechanical problem and a structural problem we need to fix, we might need 2 mechanical engineers and 2 structural engineers. but we can only select 3. And what if we want to swap them? It's not allowed. We can't even hand over tools. So we really have to prepare ourselves for all our repair protocols in order to get our car safely to the next day. Then, after we've covered this marathon stage and we pass day 4 and day 5, we start day 6 from Graaf en Neff. And there is the next challenge. It's called the blind stage. The blind stage will be a day of which we do not know the route yet. We will know it the night before. Where will it go to? Will it be 200 kilometers uphill, 200 kilometers downhill? This has a major effect on our strategy. Because if it's uphill, we might need to save a lot of energy in the days before. But if it's downhill, we can use much more energy in the race before, because we can regen it all on the day of the blind stage. Our strategists have to work with this uncertainty, and we as a team have to prepare for all the uncertainty that will become. Then, having had this blind stage, we reach day 7. And on day 7 we have our last special stage. It's called the half blind stage. We know the start of the route, we know the end, we know how it will look like, but we do not know where the loops will be. Will it be a long loop, a short one? Will it be uphill, downhill again? We do not know. And therefore we also do not know how many times we can drive it. Again, a lot of uncertainty into our race, which we need to encounter. But then, after we've covered this, after we've covered the marathon stage, all the high hills, all the uncertainty in our strategy, and the 7-day long focus, we finally arrive at day 8, from Riversdale to Cape Town, to the finish line of the South Solar Challenge 2022. And as soon as we cross this finish line, all our kilometers will be registered. A ranking will be made, and we will finally know who will be the winner this year. And in order to drive all these kilometers, we need a reliable and efficient car. And for that reason, we have improved the car a lot this year and implemented many new innovations. I would like to pass on the word to Astrid and Laurens, 2 mechanics from our engineering team, and they talk you through all the major innovations we incorporated in Nuna 11S.
The 1st of September, we were standing right here, right in this specific garage, not knowing what a year was going to look like, not knowing what the actual difference is between a left and a right wheel, and not knowing that only 10 months later, we'd be standing here explaining to you what we achieved within those 10 months. A solar car wouldn't be a solar car if it wasn't for the solar panel. One of the major projects we achieved this year was creating a new solar panel. You could ask yourself, what is so special about this specific solar panel? Don't they all look kind of the same? And isn't it just a bunch of cells connected to one another? Yes, our panel does indeed look very similar to the ones you have on your house, except that they're not. This specific solar panel that we created contains the best solar cells of silicon cells. Nobody else, not even the ones on your house, have cells of this high quality. And other than that, when Nuna has some shadow over her because she's driving underneath a tree, or because she has some shadow over her because a car is passing by, her efficiency remains extremely high, unlike her previous panel. So yeah, to go back to that question, is this panel very special? Yes, this panel is very special. And when Nuna is then driving underneath the South African sun, all the energy that is then created with this solar panel then directly goes into a brandly new designed battery package.
When we were driving in Morocco, we noticed that our battery package was very heavy for our race. All those hills, all those turns, the hectic traffic, they made us feel every gram in the car just that bit extra. So this year, we challenged ourselves to make our battery pack lighter. And by choosing a different battery cell this year, we've managed to make our battery pack 20 kilograms lighter. To give you an indication, our car normally weighs around 155 kilograms, of which 45 kilograms was pure battery weight last year. This weight reduction would normally also accumulate in an energy capacity reduction. However, a big innovation for us this year was that we could keep the battery weight down while keeping our energy capacity at virtually the same level as last year. A huge win. And after 6 months of designing, building, testing, we can finally stand here before you today and say that we have a battery that's half the weight with almost the same energy.
Back to the 1st of September, back to this specific garage we were in. We were cleaning it out because it was a mess. We were getting to know one another a little bit, and we were choosing upon what projects we were going to do this year. Maybe it is fun to design new rims, or how would it be cool if we had a new test car Barry, or would it be fun to design a new motor?
When Nuna 11 came back from Morocco, Remco, our strategist, analyzed her performance for days and for nights. And we found that those mountains, those hills, the traffic we talked about earlier, was also very devastating for one particular part of the car. This one. This electric motor. It is originally designed to run on flat land. High speed, low force. It's very efficient in that area. It's amazing at what it does. However, when we used it in the Moroccan mountains, we saw its limitations, and we saw a huge performance gap compared to the last motors.
So it was clear what we were going to do this year. We were going to design a new motor. And as this motor is for Nuna, we obviously didn't choose an easy design. No, we wanted something special, something big. No, we didn't just want some copper wires with one magnetic ring around it. We wanted to take this really big. And so we did. We started off with making some drawings, then calculating those drawings, and then redesigning. We made some drawings, then calculations, and redesigning. And then again, some drawings, then calculations, then redesigning it again. Laurens made some changes to the design. I calculated how those changes behaved, and then we analyzed it together how those changes behaved. And we did that about 177 times, until the memory of my 4 laptops I was working on was entirely full. And until this motor was finally ready for production.
We've managed to build our own electric motor from scratch within 1 year. We were just a bunch of students. We had no idea how a motor turned, how it was supposed to be designed or to be built. It seemed an impossible challenge. It almost was an impossible challenge. We not only had to make our own electric motor for the first time, we also had to make it more efficient, lighter, better than the last motors we used. That's why we chose for an even more challenging design. We chose for 2 magnetic rings, a so-called dual air gap motor. Inherently, this motor is more efficient, stronger, better than all those other motors with a single magnetic ring. However, it isn't used in the industry yet because it's very hard to get right.
Now, 10 months later, we're standing here and we can proudly tell you that this motor is almost ready to turn on the most beautiful car there is. A car with a brand new battery package. A car with a brand new solar panel. A car with a motor that doesn't only have 1, but 2 rotating rings. A car that is stronger, that is lighter, more efficient, and above all that, we believe the winning solar car of the Sassel Solar Challenge 2022. This is Nuna 11X.
She is quite beautiful, isn't she? Yes, it's a she. As you might have noticed, the car looks quite different from our previous solar cars. We believe that with an innovative car comes a new look. We're inspired by the sunset in South Africa, and that's why we chose this beautiful gradient following the shape of the car. And at the back, we placed a large version of our starting number, the number 3. Also the starting number we have had for years. Next to this, we wanted to take a bit of the outside of the car, of the inside to the car, to the outside, and that's why we chose to put a little bit of exposed carbon fiber, the material our car is made out of, and the other bottom side down there. But most striking of all is its new matte finish. For the first time in the history of our solar team, our car is not glossy, but matte. And with that, there's only one group of people left to thank, and that's of course our friends and family who have supported us up until this day and will continue to do so. And with that, I would like to thank you all for making it possible for us to inspire the world in the field of sustainability and innovation. Yes, I think the mic's not working. So from now on you will have the chance to take a picture with the car and look at the car up close. The guards will guide you through the stage, and then row by row you will all have the chance to come up here. However, we first want to start with our main sponsor, of course, Brunel, so I would like to welcome them to come up to the stage.
Respect